Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today, what I wanted to do was I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about the Western modern relationships and how they are going to crash you out, and the ones that aren't crashing you out, you will learn more than you would ever imagine in that time span of that relationship. You know what I mean? More than you will learn in the time you spent in indoctrination schools. You know what I mean? So a lot of us that's in the Western world, we are mixed up in this modern day and age relationship cesspool of selfishness. We got a lot of beings from the men's side who is approaching things extremely selfish. Then you got the women on the other side who are being even more chaotic with their energy and their process, considering that Western society has set them up with more false authority and power than they can even process. So this is something I already had to start off teaching my daughter from day one, like don't be yelling back and getting aggressive with men, because if there was no police system involved, then that being can do harm or damage to you. And back in the day when most people would move around, most women had a male with them, whether it was a brother, a father, somebody from the community or tribe would always be kind of in their presence. You know what I'm saying? So there was always protection for women back then because women had a different value, and they valued themselves differently. So we see a lot of people not caring about women or protecting them now just because of how everything is all set up. But for us over here, we already understand it's a spiritual war. You know what I mean? So whether you take women or male and put it there, you should already understand that the energy, the spirit is not biased, and then the male and female role these are roles that we were assigned when we got here to this realm. So a lot of people don't like to take on them roles because spiritually they understand that they are not the body or the vessel. So that's why you have a lot of beings who say, oh, I'm a cat, I'm a dog, a male want to be a female, female want to be a male. So they understand these things on an extremely deep level for them to be in that concept of saying, hey, I don't want to be in that kind of energy. This is the kind of energy I want to be in. But with these modern relationships, right, in the Western, we're not just talking about spouses. You got your family relationships, which are really bad. You got your plantations. I call all jobs plantations. If it's not yours, you didn't build it, create it, then it's a plantation. All of these are relationships, even the relationships you have with your neighbors around you. Like, it's been so much disconnect that has been created that a lot of beings don't even understand that we all use each other still. We all still need each other. So even from the most toxic demonic beings, for us light beings, we all still take something out of that process of engaging with them. So when you start processing and understanding, like, the relationships that you have with yourself and with life is what's going to carry you and your belief system throughout this process and this journey of life. So for me, I always put extra emphasis on the relationships that I had and tried to make them more valuable. Even with my male peers, I always tried to bring more substance and value to the table for them. And if you understand, like, relationships and how you have to relate in order to travel on the ship, you would understand that's why a lot of us are getting mixed up in this weird space to where we're traveling on a ship, but we don't really have a destination. It's like going on a cruise, but you don't know where you're going. You just kind of sail out there and you on the cruise with some people that you kind of care about. So what kind of dove me into this subject today was just kind of processing everything. It's not always about dealing with somebody on, a spousal level, because we all engage and interact with people 24/7. And for a lot of us, we have a hard time either opening doors, getting to first base, second base, third base. A lot of people ain't even processing like how to build and grow together anymore. So when you remove all these things, you can kind of see how society has been broken down and how this process continues to kind of work in the system's favor. You know what I'm saying? It's doing what they want it to do, what it's supposed to do. So for me, when I look at it from the shallow standpoint, which what I was just giving, and then I take it and I implant it into a deeper perspective, it's a spiritual war going on. So I had just recently did the video on gang stalking. So it's like if the opposition, you moving in God's light with creator, and then you got the opposition over here. You know what I'm saying? Like these beings are masking, working, hiding to get next to you. But for us, we're not processing things that way. We're processing it as, okay, we're trying to take what they give us and hope that, you know, it has the same weight for face value. And that's not always the case. That's how we present ourselves. So we would assume that others would be presenting themselves the same way. And that's not always the case. They do not always present themselves the same way. You know what I mean? So it's hard to be engaging with certain people, and we learned these word spells and how to use our verbiage to communicate outwardly. But humans have been in this space for so long using these not even just English, verbiage in general, that we use it anytime we over saturate something. You should already know that it's gonna have a bunch of witchy sauce on the end of it. So now, even if you don't know how to manipulate, they teach you in the movies. They teach you in the social medias, you know what I'm saying? Any of the media apps that you go into. They teach us all these tactics and these things that's happening and that's going on. And it kind of hurts your relationships. And I say that because it's like my mini, she is only 7, but she in school right now in indoctrination school. And for the most part, it's like she has people that she's around in the school, and I try to tell her is mostly based off of proximity. A lot of these beings you engaging with, you friends and you cool with, it's based off of proximity. You know what I mean? If you wasn't in that school, you'd be at another school with different friends. But her peers had did something to her, like poured out her last little bit of water or something that had upset her. You know what I'm saying? And she kind of just went around the corner, sad, doing her thing, you know, whatever. And in my world, it's like, as the dad, I understand that these beings aren't really your friends. You know, y'all are acquainted due to proximity range. So understanding these things and then trying to help put her in that space of comprehending these things better, it made me realize that it becomes trickier trying to teach certain things to these people and to the ones around us just based off of the structure that everybody else isn't being taught certain things at home. You know what I mean? So with us having all this weird friction and chaos in the modern society, like even so from my mini situation, from that situation right there to just having turning on YouTube and seeing like all these women platforms where they discussing relationships, all these men platforms where they discussing relationships. It's kind of like that's cool and all, and they do touch on some good points and bases, but they don't touch the core base of what's really actually happening and going on. You know what I mean? They're not talking about in these other little dating apps and things or these other podcasts with groups of women and groups of men. They aren't talking about the spiritual standpoint. You know what I mean? They aren't touching base on any of these things. They kind of put women into one pot and they put men into one pot. Now, you can put women in one pot because they're different. You can put men in one pot, but when you do that pot, you have to put a divider in it because it's only really 2 types of men. You got the ones who's moving righteous, the ones who's not moving righteous. You know what I'm saying? I don't really count for the ones in the middle because they seesaw. And then it's the same thing with the women. You got the ones who want to move more righteously and then the ones who aren't. So a lot of these things are not even addressing what's really going on the inside. So that's another reason why a lot of these other things get a lot more pull and a lot more traction, is because they're able to not be direct with the information. For a lot of us, we want to be more direct with the information that we're sharing and giving, you know what I'm saying? And our experiences in general. So it's like, you got to understand, like, we not creating substance with none of these relationships anymore. I don't give a damn if it's your friends, your family, you know what I'm saying, your spousal, like your jobs. We actually create more substance with our plantations because the money is reciprocating the time and energy. So it's actually going hand in hand with the demonic people. But for us, we're not really that concerned that way. So it's really like, once you start understanding that man has a role in a position. Yes, you are the spiritual being having a human experience, but you are, once you take form of that vessel, that's your role you're supposed to be taking on. And it's the same thing if that spirit entity was into a female body, you know what I'm saying? They supposed to be taking on that role. That's why we don't see a lot of animals out here pretending or doing something that they're not supposed to be doing. They usually do a good job at taking on the role they're supposed to be taking on. You see a female lion, she's acting like a female lion. You see a male fox, he's doing what male foxes do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see a male squirrel, they doing. We all have these roles that's interchangeable, but we stopped the substance. There's no more substance in between there. So a lot of us have bits and pieces of substance with our family members, and that's due to just because we was around them for a long period of time. Proximity, you know, I got substance with my mom and them because when I was in New York, she was raising me. When we moved down to Virginia, she was raising me. What changed was that my peers, I got different peers. I didn't want to leave my peers up there, but I had to create new peers down here. So those transitions with your parents and your family, whoever is the ones taking care of you, that gives you substance to a degree because you have some time spent and some longevity in there. Hey, peace, Harlem kid. I see you, precious. I see you, precious. They playing around with the numbers and stuff, but that's usual schmusual. You know what I'm saying? When I get up here, you know we gonna get straight to it, and we gonna get out their way. You know what I mean? So, nah, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all, because we all kind of twisted up out here and like understanding like where are these ships taking us to. You get on the ship and you realize one just took you into an iceberg. Then you get on another ship and you realize this one ain't even got no what is it, the propellers or whatever, whatever gets the boat rolling. You done got up on the boat, you chilling, relax, you thinking y'all about to go somewhere, y'all communicating, and then you realize the ship is not moving, it's not going anywhere. And then you still on the ship a year, 2 years, 3 years later, you know what I'm saying? Realize, oh shit, this been my homeboy for a couple years now, and we ain't built one thing together. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard for me to even call this nigga up and get some accurate information. You know what I'm saying? So like, we have to get back to the substance we used to build with each other. You know what I'm saying? My male associates, when I was younger, we used to all be outside playing, but we also figured out ways in that younger generation where we didn't have a whole pound of technology to kind of build. You know what I'm saying? So right now we got to figure out a way to transform the little people playing into building. We got to transform the little people playing into building. We all play, we are gonna play, and it's not taken away from little people being little people. A lot of people be saying, oh, I want them to be little people, but then they grow up and they still little people. I don't want little people, little men that's supposed to be grown trying to engage with this over here, my mini. You know what I'm saying? I know it's gonna happen. I cannot prevent it, but what I can do is do my job. I can do my part. You know what I'm saying? And another thing that's been moving the substance is we don't have any longevity. Like, most people are meeting people, 20 children won't play together for 20 years. They won't. 20 people won't even be cool for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's based on proximity, then you already know some of y'all don't even like each other. I got people that I was cool with in high school. Grand Rising, Deontay, I see you. Most of us wasn't even I had associates, right, in high school. Some of my buddies I was cool with, we was like this. In my world, I assuming we like this. They had associates that we was all intertwined due to sports and proximity. So some of the guys that was coming around, I wasn't cool with them. So my homeboys, I'm cool with them on a 9 and a 10 on a 1 to 10 scale, but then they got other people that's coming into the mix that I don't really vibe with like that. You know what I'm saying? They probably like a 2 or 3. Some of them maybe like a 5 or a 4, you know what I'm saying? But they still in my proximity. So now we got some kind of engagement going on, even though it's not on that kind of level. We not creating the substance. That's even with our spousal relationships. There's no more building. People are going from school to school to school to another school to the plantations. That just sucked up all your time right there. Once you go through preschool, elementary school, middle school, high school, what the fuck is the purpose of college? Other than, I know the white culture and the other cultures, they use them some on a percentage scale because most of them are in there, so that's why they get more of the percentage. A percentage of them usually are taught to find their person while they're in college. That's where you're gonna, not saying colleges, but at those ages and ranges is where you build the real substance at. But now we got men who like, oh, I just want to grind and figure it out. And then once I get to this position up here, let me get to step number 25. And then I can communicate and start engaging with other females in that manner. Then you got some females who like, yeah, I'm just going to throw the box around until I get to this level right here. Then I'll find somebody that's going to be willing to settle down. It's like, it's no substance in between there. How do you find somebody? I don't really believe in finding anybody because the universe sends us what we need and what we deserve. You know what I'm saying? Or what we got to build and grow through. Some shit you get hit with and it's like, yo, I don't feel like I deserve this. But then once you make it through that, it gives you way more energy to flex. You know what I'm saying? But at the time, it was hard as hell while you was going through it. And for a lot of us, it's no more longevity built in between there. A lot of people don't know. First of all, women is not picking people by leaders, you know what I'm saying? And men is still picking females by the same thing. So we already coming in to the picture with the wrong perspective already. You know what I'm saying? We coming into the picture all trying to mingle, hang out, and play and engage with each other on some laugh and fun stuff, which is cool. But once you allow that to overtake your process, that basically becomes a distraction. So if you are not making things clear and setting, certain things in place, putting certain boundaries up, then that's always going to be something that's going to affect all your ships, all of your ships. It's not just dealing with the opposite sex. You got family members and immediate associates that you deal with. And a lot of us have a hard time with our immediate associates. It's like, why are we having such a hard time with our immediate associates? And especially if you're not sexually engaging with them, like you creating portals and opening up doors and things that you don't even have to open up. And then we're keeping them open just off of comfortability. You know what I mean? And I know a percentage of it has to do with proximity. Another percentage of it has to do with us being in prison. We still got to remember we're in prison, we're in jail, trying to figure out how to have relationships, trying to live, trying to build and grow in a system that is trying to thrash you and take you out. You know what I'm saying? So we also have to keep that in play at hand too. So for me in my world, it's like, if I want to help create the shift, then that means I have to be the one that take the brute force of a lot of shit that doesn't feel good in order to establish something better for the next generation. You know what I mean? So a lot of stuff that I feel and I go through, I wouldn't even have to if I wasn't stepping into certain positions. Like a lot of things that us light workers who want to do more and build more and really help create this shift, y'all have to understand, like a lot of things that we experience, we really don't honestly have to experience. Like we can always conform and then not have to experience all this weird witchy backlash. Grand Rising, peace. I see you, Leo. I see you. Y'all know we just get in here and we running. I don't be waiting for everybody to get in here. I don't be waiting to see what the algorithms is going to do. You know what I'm saying? For me, when the universe say give it and go, I have to do it. You know what I'm saying? And I used to do the little beats and stuff in the beginning, but I just want to get it to y'all. You know what I'm saying? This where the vibes be at. I just try and get everything else organized outside of being in front of here. You know what I'm saying? It just be a lot of obstacles happen. As soon as I start live streaming in my new space, the other day, my damn camera break on the front part of my screen. So it's like a bunch of weird, random things just be happening to try to hinder my process. And I have to go into my inner space and put more energy behind the creator and just let them know, like, you're not going to be able to knock me off this. I don't care if you take everything that I got from me. I'm going to continue to push forward in this light. Like, that's just not going to change. Like, I've been a warrior my whole life. So for me to have somewhere to direct it at, just make it even stronger. So, and more potent. So we all got to go. So somebody coming to swipe left on me, I'm not really concerned or tripping over that. You know what I'm saying? It's more so about just making sure I do my part for the next generation. I got a whole daughter here. You know what I'm saying? I cannot teach her how to be a man. I can teach her how to understand men, but she's a female. You know, I don't ever want her to start taking in more masculine energy when she should be learning how to make her feminine energy more powerful. You know, being loud isn't a strength. You know, being aggressive isn't a strength. These are things that kind of go hand in hand for men. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what men do. We want to see who got the bigger nuts. That's not what women do. Like, your strength is in how solid are you in your femininity. You know what I'm saying? Like, I watched a podcast a couple weeks ago, and it was like three men. It was their podcast, and then it was like they had some co-hosts up there, some women, and then two of the women was really aggressive. Like, they was like going back and forth, like tag teaming each other in to agree with each other points. And then it was another woman that was there, and what's crazy is she had a little bit more weight on her than the other one, but her femininity was so strong and it was so powerful. Just seeing her just not being in a combative state, just being in a position to really be able to listen to intake information. It was basically her homegirls that was doing all of this right here with the guy co-host in their point of views that they had. Hit the floor, and give us quick push-ups, do it now. Nah, but I be on it. I do be on it, man. I stay on the trails, you know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. Maybe getting 10 views my whole life, but I was still documenting. Yeah, I ain't tripping. I already understood, like, the universe, you know, gives us a lot of talents. It gives us a lot of, I don't like saying talents. I used to say it when I was younger. The universe gave me the power and strength to believe in myself. I don't say it gave me talents because I didn't know how to cook in the kitchen like a chef, but then I just started getting in the kitchen. I learned it and I got it. I didn't always play basketball my whole life, but when I started young, I got really good at it. I didn't play football my whole life. When I started, I got really good at it. I had made beats my whole life. I could name a bunch of things. I did construction work, plumbing work. I did all kind of things you could think of from teenage years to some of my 20s. You know what I'm saying? But the bigger picture of it was a lot of those spaces I went into, I was new. And we all know how the unknown is. It's weird. It's a little creepy. It feels like you unsure, you edgy, you kind of tiptoeing. That's even with going to a new job. You still feel like, I don't know this space. I don't know these people. You got this whole process you got to put yourself through on the inside before you even, you know, get comfortable with being at the job space. You know what I mean? You're a warrior, ain't you? 10 pressure, 10 push-ups. Do it. Nah, we not getting down. We gonna put that work in, but we ain't doing no push-ups right now. Look, that's for later. That's for later. I did hit the trail yesterday. We should always be keeping ourselves right. But it has sidetracked me from my point about the feminine energy. A lot of beings are out here saying that, oh, when they get loud or they're being aggressive or they're proving their point or like being vocal about some shit, that doesn't give you power in your feminine energy. Like, you getting aggressive with a man and proving a point in your world when you do these things, right? Because I would never tell somebody not to do them because everything is on a percentage scale. If you feel like today is your day, you want to get swiped left on, by all means, more power to you. But being in that space, always look at it as, would you be communicating and engaging this way if you didn't have the security and protection of the police system? If you didn't have the police system to call, you always have your family. That's one thing that we always did have back then. There was no police. You got your brothers, you got your uncles, you got your dad, you got your neighbors. Communities used to vibe together. You know what I'm saying? It used to be a point in time where you could go down and knock on the neighbor's door and ask if they got any extra fruit for you. You know what I'm saying? The demonic shit that I grew up in, we would knock on doors and ask if they got sugar. I'm past sugar right now. You know what I'm saying? Sugar has done a great number on all of us. But as far as just understanding like where our power lies, if they can keep the dynamics separated, then that means that we don't get to morph into that mighty morphin power range. If I'm standing in my full divine masculinity and then there's another female in her full divine femininity, and then I got my community, that's around me, I got more divine masculine men, it's no way for them to kind of infiltrate and to destroy us the way that they do. You know what I mean? So the weird thing that we got to deal with though is it's a lot of us that's already programmed. So you have to get into your space that a lot of people that's your age and a little bit under, there's no hope for them. This is why the system works on the youth. This is why they work on the youth. They already understand how the program works. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm glad that I was in a space to where my mini came along at the right time to where I was able to focus my energy in a different light, because it was transitioning to where I was about to be just only focused on the money and doing all this other shit that I wanted to do, and then I realized I've been here 37 years, I gotta have things organized. But for me, I feel better and I feel more fruitful, like living for others. My mini, I got a couple buddies that I was down with in 07, 08. I still talk to them. I just had my big homie call me over the phone. I still take phone calls. I still try to send out change when I can, And for me, that's how I build the substance in the relationships, even if the other people and beings don't look at it the same way, we not really nobody is thugging through relationships, because women is not going to thug it through with no man who's not no good leader. But you chose this not good leader. They just had a couple things that looked good on the outside, but you realized that it was no real substance in there. I use this example all the time. It's like it's like something I would say previously in my old examples. It would be like going to the store and you get a bag of chips, right? How would you feel if you went to the store, they got a bag of chips, and you opened the bag of chips when you got home and there was nothing in there, not anything in there, you know what I'm saying? It was full of air. They closed it up, they sealed it and everything, you know what I'm saying? They did a good job on the packaging and all that stuff. You get home, bust the chips open, it's not one chip in there. That's how society is set up in the Western society. And I always emphasize Western because it's not all over the world. If it was all over the world, this shit would be way worse than what it is right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's bad right now, but it would be way worse. So I always feel like the hardest part for society and us right now is just understanding that it's not about us. It's not about us. And I know a lot of selfish people not going to want to hear that shit. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about the next generation. There are the next ones coming up in this chaos that we help create. You know what I'm saying? Not one damn chip. I know it don't be anything, bro. You don't know how many times I've been frustrated that it's frustrating because people are masking. It's not like people just walking around like, you go to a store and you just see chips outside the bag. That's not how it happens. You go to the store, the chips are in the bag. No way to check out, can't be mad, move forward. Hey, man, look. You cannot be mad, right? I do like that point, but it doesn't negate the fact that you still have to deal with some kind of betrayal. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like we are outside. I go out my house and it's like, oh, a snake. Let me pick him up. Let me take care of this snake. Let me nurture this snake. No, I'll go outside and it's a bunny rabbit suit and it's a snake inside the bunny. So that's different. That they're fucking with my perception, what I'm perceiving with these two eyes right here, because it's harder to project that and to confuse the spirit within. So that's why it's easier to put the mask on for them. But then that makes it harder for us. But we're such accountable beings that most of us would be like, well, you should have saw the red flags. Oh, I shouldn't have ignored the red flags. But it's like, that's how accountable we are. That we will take that approach of saying this person was so disgusting that they had to mask themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm in a bad mood or a bad vibe energy, I'm not going to push it off to the world, but I'm not going to sit around and try to be disgusting. I'm not going to be trying to manipulate people around. And even when I was growing up or trying to go to the bars and clubs at young, when that was becoming a thing, I didn't even have the audacity to start lying to women at the clubs just to get some cheeks. Like, that wasn't even my thing. Like, I felt like shit. Like, if I'm going to the clubs with my buddy and it was like one of these sewing years where it was like, I'm just out mingling, but I ain't got much going on. It's been times before when I was younger trying to create conversation with females. And it was like, yo, this shit just feels awkward. Like, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing more. I'm supposed to have more going on, you know. One, because I wasn't building with these beings right here already. And for two, because we already know how the way the Western society is set up, that it's just set up really weird. I don't want to leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? But understanding that for us men, right? For the ones who want to be divine masculine men, that don't want to be confused, never lose sight of being able to build with somebody from where you are and where they are. You let society tell it, or any of these other podcasts, they're going to tell you that the man should get established first and then grab, you know, a person, a spousal or something in that manner. But in my world, it's like I'm already established, so I won't have the same value and substance on you unless you're overly compensating when you come to the table. And the same thing for the women. It's weird for y'all to wait that long because it's like I would trust the being less if they already established. Not saying like you shouldn't be established, but if I'm a female and I want to build something longevity wise, I would want to get you at a much better space opposed from you already being established. And now I'm making it more difficult for myself to trust you in the process. Because now in my world, I'm thinking, oh, they already got this. They was already doing this. They could spin out and slide anytime they want to. And that's only because if you're not picking them by the right attributes, then these are the spaces that it leaves you to dance around back and forth with. And that's what we want to do, is stop the dancing. A lot of people is in these weird spaces to where you got some men being like, I don't even want to deal with women no more. And then you got women being like, I don't want to deal with men anymore. Then you got both parties saying, I don't fuck with my family at all. And then the rest of the bunch is like, man, fuck these plantations, fuck the system. So you can see how they created this cesspool and literally just start pulling everybody away from each other. And then a lot of people that don't want to, a lot of people, hey, big girl, a lot of people that don't want to work on it, you know, they tend to run away from these conversations. They tend to run away from this kind of energy. They tend to run away from this kind of vibration. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, you never really wanted to change. You never really wanted to shift. You just kind of wanted a little bit more information to make you feel comfortable about you being selfish in the space that you in. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of this stuff that we be hearing and experiencing and people trying to pass other information down to us, is like, yo, you trying to put me in a more selfish state. The system already made us pretty selfish. You know what I'm saying? So for me to take on this information, say, yeah, you're just only supposed to care about you. I care about more people than just myself. That's just how I'm built. you know, and usually most men, that's how we build. And in my world, I used to think that females would be that way, you know, and I know they aren't making them as nurturing anymore over here, but you would feel like that would be connected with the feminine energy as well too, which it should. So that's why I say, like, you gotta be mindful out here. You know, a lot of these Western modern relationships is like they kind of built to crash us out. You know, you got people who get beside you or people you was growing up living with, and they don't have your best interests at heart, but they'll still stay around you and they'll still do different little things. You'll have somebody come pick you up, give you a ride, right? And they'll be at the bar somewhere and then see your spouse out there fucking around with somebody, and then they won't relay the information to you. You know, it's always this weird process with these other beings. They'll do something that seems nice, but then the substance behind it is null and void, you know? And for me, and what I try to push off to my many and for the others, we got to get back to the substance. You got to get back to the substance, you know? So figure out what it is for you that's considered thugging it out or making it through, you know? Because I don't never tell nobody to stay in no toxic ass situations, you know, especially if it's at the detriment of your life and your health and everything else in the process, you know what I mean? But if you understand that you have a great leader, if you understand you have a great woman in her feminine energy that's being extremely supportive of all your endeavors and ventures, then got to get away from social media and thinking that it's all going to be peaches and cream. You know, I don't live by that love word. I live by my actions and how I show you how I care about you. You know, that's what I live by. I done heard the word love so many times on the movie that I don't really care for it. When I hear it, I just see potions and spells and magic when I hear that word. I know it's a form of control and manipulation. You know what I'm saying? So create your own word for love, for how you show God's love through you. It's not your own love. I hate when people say, "Oh, my love language." Yeah, fuck your love language. Fuck your love language. I know God's love language. I know Creator's love language. And it speaks through all of us. Everybody keep going to this I statement, this me. You know, and it's like, that's how the demons work. They get you to focus on I and self. You have to look at self and work on self, which is things that we should have known growing up already. So that's supposed to be primary. What happened is that was ignored. So now you feel like, oh, okay, now I should put myself first. It's like somebody having a kid or losing a leg. Once you lose that leg, it's gone. You have to figure out how to live without having that leg there, how to keep your spirit up, your energy up, how to still operate in today's society with your leg being gone. But a lot of beings, because if it's not something physical, intangible that's taken away from them, they feel as if it can be substituted or skipped over. It cannot. You cannot stuff a child back in your box once it's out. You cannot put your leg back on once it's off. And if you do, you have to do it really fast, and it's not going to be quite the same. So these same rules apply in the spiritual world. These same rules apply in the spiritual world. So if I do certain things to somebody, and let's say like I didn't do anything tangible to them, like physical, I just kind of broke their trust or their loyalty in their mind. That's like having a baby come out your womb. You cannot take that back. That's like chopping your leg off. You cannot get that back. So when these other beings are running around doing these weird witchy things and stabbing people in the back and, you know, manipulating people for their own pleasures, you know what I'm saying? Hey, peace, Ra. Peace, Naira. I see you. We out here, you know, so just keeping everybody mindful and lit and enlightened as far as like, I've already addressed it. We are in these prison relationships. So just understanding that concept and then just This is where it's gonna get tricky at. Because men need support. We need that feminine energy. Women have to find the leader. So my thing is like if somebody picked me and chose me, or I chose somebody from my tribe, right? Hey, I'm gonna take care of you, I'm gonna provide for you, I'm gonna do all of these things, right? My fruits of my way of life should already show that I don't walk a demonic lifestyle. I could walk a demonic lifestyle, you know. I got a mom and dad, sperm donor, you know, that gave me some decent attributes, you know what I'm saying, that I could have easily used for the other team. But for me, it's like I always acknowledge spaces of where I have power and where I could have more power. I always acknowledge the spaces of where I have power and where I could have more power. But that doesn't mean that I want more power. That doesn't mean that I want more power. I could have been bullying people through school. I could have been whoring myself around out here. I could have been lying, manipulating. I could be making ratchet content, getting all kind of viewership. My Tatiana beat went viral. That's at 1.4 million views right now. But they won't allow this kind of knowledge and information to shoot up in there the same way. You know what I mean? So even once the Tatiana shit had went viral, I was like, this isn't what I want to be seen or known for. Like, it's just the instrumental, but to me, it didn't have more substance. And then it was like weird beings like Nicki Minaj and all them using it, and they not even reaching out. It was a whole bunch of stuff that transpired in between doing it the demonic way. I used to tell myself, hey, I want to go viral. I want to go viral. But I didn't want it the way that it went viral. You know what I'm saying? And because I wasn't specific and more direct with how I wanted to manifest it, in the Western society, you're going to get it, you know, but it's going to come with a lot of dirt, grime, dog poop, horse manure, cow manure. It's going to come with all that stuff on there that you're like, I don't even want this. I didn't even want it. So when that joint hit the algorithms and it started going crazy, it was like, y'all don't. And that wasn't even for me doing anything ratchet. That was like, I'm considering that low vibrational because it's not at this frequency. You know what I mean? So that's what I was saying about as far as like how we are given the strength to believe in ourselves. You know, I don't care about talents. We all grinding and putting in work. If you here watching this, or even if you're not, you and take it later, or you just in this space and this frequency just gets you, you just have to understand how hard you have been fighting the good fight. And a lot of people around you is not going to give you that credit. They're not going to give you that credit. They don't have to give you that credit, but the universe is going to show you they appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? The universe always does. I done been through so much hard shit in my life, and I'm still not done going through it. I'm going through some hard shit right now that I'm just not putting out to the public as of right this second. You know what I'm saying? But that's still not going to stop me from fighting this fight. I've been fighting this shit my entire life. That's like fighting being broke or poor. I came out the womb with no money. So for me to be in a space where we're like, oh, yeah, I need money. Nigga, I'm 37 years old. If I need money, so what? I needed it when I came out the womb. You know what I'm saying? We've been fighting a battle and a war this entire time. We're trying to figure out the real substance. And in the process of us figuring out the real substance and value, you got beings in the system telling you, hey, you need money to do this. You need money to do that. And it's like, wait a minute. You don't even know how chaotic my energy is in the inside. You know, and if mine is chaotic, I can only imagine other people who had to deal with chaotic in the energy inside, and they wasn't strong enough, or belief system wasn't strong enough to help them manage and master their energy in the process. You know what I'm saying? And that's how a lot of people get broken and folded in the process. It happens. It happens. I feel like when the opposition took a hold of my little brother, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had went away to prison. My brother that's a year younger than me, he had the next year or a couple months later, he graduated from high school. So then he went to college. So I went to prison, school of the hard knocks. My other brother, a year younger than me, went to college. That means my youngest brother was out here fending for himself. You know what I mean? And then my mom, she was in the process of getting divorced when me and my brother, I was going to Hard Knock Life School. My other brother was in college. And then my little brother, he didn't even have our mom to turn to. And his dad had just passed away when I was in prison. You know what I'm saying? So the opposition took that time within that 3-year time span to gain access to my little bro. Because when I came home, I could tell that things had shifted and was different. Now he's still him, he's still a loving being, but I knew that something had shifted. And then as I got older, a couple years had passed, I realized, all right, the opposition got my bro to sign the contract with them when I was gone away, and then my other brother was gone, and my mom wasn't even around. So you can kind of look back at people times in their life if you've been around them long enough to see where they signed the contract. Because that's when everything changes and shifts, you know what I'm saying? And then for them to get out of that contract, it's like any other physical contract, you know what I'm saying? You gotta wait till that contract is up, or you gotta pay your debts. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pay extra to get out of those contracts. So, and it's other beings that I could look at and reflect that in that same manner where I could be like, damn, I could see where you signed that contract at. You know what I'm saying? I could look at my BM. She said she started having her seizures, her epilepsy thing when she was like 12 or 13. You made it a good portion, you know, to not have that. So that means that your household had so much stress, fear, and chaos pressed into you that you signed your agreements with the opposition around that time. So now with your agreements is you have to be on this medication and deal with this chaotic space right here, but we'll reward you for signing over on these contracts. So now all of them are moving in lower vibration frequencies. You know, they can come up a little bit, but then they are still down there in that same frequency. And just understanding these things, man, it's like, it's deeper than just male, female. So for me, I understand that. And I be trying to communicate on all avenues and angles, you know, and it'll get better with time. So if some of it gets if you get a little lost in the process, just know I'm trying to communicate multiple English languages into one segment so it's comprehensible, because everybody doesn't comprehend on the same level. And then that's also where the examples come into play at, just to kind of try to help a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody was doing this for me when I was younger, I would be super appreciative. But I'm in a day and age to where I could turn on YouTube and I can get other beings doing this right now, and I can intake their information the same way. You know what I mean? So just understanding these things, like this Western modern society of relationships is going to put us in between a rock and a hard space. And it depends on how strong you are to push that rock up off you and be like, I can feel and breathe better with this rock not on my chest. You know, I don't need this extra weight up on me for me to live and vibrate. I can slave for y'all and do this little shit over here and then still be able to live my righteous life, you know, without the ill intent of hurting and harming everybody around me. Now, I say that to say, like, I done hurt people in my life. Now, I won't say I haven't hurt people. But the difference is the people that I did hurt, they knew I was going to hurt them. It wasn't a secret. It wasn't a surprise. If I didn't like you, I'm going to let you know. And most people that know that I didn't like them, if they didn't hear it from me, they heard it from the people around me. So it was never like no sneak attack or no surprise. It wasn't like I put on a mask to get closer to a male associate so I can get them. Like, if anything, I'm going to pull up on you. And that was, before I got locked up, that was my thing. If I had an issue, I'm coming to your house to see you. And 10 times out of 10, it was usually a mom or dad trying to be like, oh no, they're not going to come outside. But that was my way. I was very straightforward. And a lot of us are straightforward. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not making it seem like nobody, oh, we just don't hurt people and we don't do these kind of things and we won't slap you in the face or we won't knock your tray on the floor or some shit like that. No, we will. But we're going to let you know. It's not going to be no secret or surprise. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have people, females that I engaged with before, just break into my space to start taking and removing shit. And it's like, that's sneaky. That's sneaky. Even for my robbery charges that I did 3 years for, it was niggas in the house. You know, it wasn't like, oh, they're not here. They were still, I'm not saying I did it right, wrong. I'm just saying, just speaking the facts of what the fuck I did. You know, so even with me even diving into the damn demonic world, I still had to be straightforward. I still couldn't do it in a sneaky manner. Like, some of us, our spirits and our team just give us so much strength. We just not built like them. And then the more and more you in this process, you're gonna realize like the way they say, what is it? Men from Jupiter, women from Mars, or some shit like that. No, you got the righteous that's coming from this space, and you got these evil other entities coming from that space. Don't separate men and women like we not together. Hell no, because there's some righteous women that's fighting this war over here too. Trust me, I know some. I'm just not in their personal space. You know what I mean? I ain't mad at them. More peace and love to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm fighting with anybody that's fighting this war. Simple process. You know what I'm saying? And even for the ones that don't fight, if you was in my space, I'm fighting for you. If you are tapped into this right now, just know that I am fighting for you. You know, I don't fight just for myself. Most of my fights in my life, I could easily say I've been in over 60, 70 fights. You know, some days when I was young, I used to fight 2-3 times a day. It's not anything, you know? So, but a lot of my fights was from my peers. From my peers. A lot of them was from my peers. Like, most of them wasn't from me, like just me being instigator or people just not liking me. Somebody wanted that smoke with me. It's because I probably laughed at them while somebody was joking them and it really hurt them. And then I was laughing and they didn't like the fact I was laughing at them. So then they got a little frustrated, might have wanted to come my way. You know what I'm saying? But that's a little different. But it just puts me in a space to just let y'all know, like, just spiritually, like, some of these beings are from a different world. Like, they are from a different world. There are programs that they have on them. Have you ever tried to delete your text message app or your phone app that comes installed, pre-installed on your phone? Most phones will not allow you to delete those. Most phones will not allow you to delete those. So you always have those options. Even though you could go to the app store and download apps that got phone on it and got text message on it, most phones will not allow you to delete their phone app and their text messaging app. You have to see that with these other beings. The system mimicked us with the technology. They get the concept of the technology and what the technology does from us. When they're talking about, oh, you don't got a fast processor in your computer, you need faster, that just means the computer isn't thinking fast enough. Your phone isn't thinking. That's the words we use right now. I call it time travel, but just thinking for short terms, it's not thinking fast enough. You know what I'm saying? That's why computers can get a virus and humans can get a virus. They use the same terminology. So when you take down the fake artificial human and look at the functions of it, it matches us. It matches us. So I would take some of them apps that I couldn't delete off the phone, I place that with the opposition. But then when I think about the God and the creator, they got apps put on us too that cannot be removed. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to let this shit go. I was in prison standing solid like this. I got to Coffeewood. I did 5 months in the jail before they got me up the road, right? 5 months in the jail. They got me up the road to prison. I only had 3 years. Some people do 3 years in the jail. They knew they just wanted to get my ass up the road. I don't know. Anyways, long story short, the first prison I was at was a dormitory, meaning it's a dorm where it's a lot of niggas and a bunch of bunk beds. There is no cells, there's no privacy. You got a bunk right here, and then you got your bunkmate, you got your locker right here, and then you got the other bunk facing the other way right there. So literally you got head to head right there, but it's a locker in the middle. Even when I just got up the road and they had us on lockdown for a week, I stood solid for damn near inciting a riot. I wasn't inciting a riot. This is the charge they pressed on us. And it was just for the simple fact that they tried to say, the COs and the lieutenants and stuff tried to say that my pod, not my pod, the pod I was in, because I literally just got in there. They literally said that the pod I was in was one of the worst pods. So they didn't want to give us our commissary. So then everybody was like trying to yell at the COs and do all this weird shit. And then some of the other guys that I was around that had been doing this for a while, they was kind of talking. I'm engaging with them a little bit. And I'm just like, in my world, I'm just like, yo, y'all doing all this yelling, arguing. All you got to do is just not stand for count. If they don't want to give you commissary, you just don't comply with them. So 13 of us got locked up. Before the lieutenants came in with big boxes of handcuffs and all that shit, everybody was standing up. Everybody was talking shit. It's 90, almost 100 niggas in the pod. Everybody talking shit, everybody going, yeah, I ain't doing this, I ain't doing that. Soon as the lieutenants and the sergeants and captains came in, it was like 14, 15 of them. They came in deep. It was only my row of 13 guys, 13, that was still not standing for count. And they locked us all up, 13. They let certain people out the hole so they could make more space to put us in the hole. I didn't have to do that. My spirit, it just, the way my spirit is set up, it rejects the fucking system. I sat in the hole for 2.5 months. That's how I knew I didn't have no problem with me sitting in my own energy. I've always been cool in my own space, you know, and I never checked myself into the hole either. You know what I'm saying? I was known on the yard for balling and hooping and just mingling, you know what I'm saying? Just me being me, working out, doing my thing. But I did have to go sit 2.5 months in the hole. They shipped all of us to different prisons. It was 12 of us. We all went to a different prison in Virginia. So I went from Coffeewood, which was a level 2 dormitory, and they sent me to Greensville Correctional Facility, which is a level 3-4 prison facility. But that's the biggest prison in Virginia. And I just kept thinking to myself, damn, I just got in here. I know I didn't stand for a count and shit, you know what I'm saying? But like, damn, now y'all sending me to the biggest prison where people are doing life. You know, I've met people got 300 years, 600 years, 700 years. Some people got 1,200 years. When I start hearing some of the numbers they got, I'm like, the system is just reckless because it didn't even make no sense. You could have gave them 100. They're not going to live past that. But, you know, I know how it works. But I had to go to the most extreme measures just because of the way I stand, you know, and that was in the system. I did that while in jail, in prison, in another jail, in a box. So why would the fuck would they think I wouldn't come out here and still be standing solid? You know, like these are the kind of things that be blowing me. So it's like, y'all can do what y'all do. I already know y'all gonna do it. I expect all the worst. I expect all the witchy stuff. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't stop me, and it's never gonna stop us from standing how we stand. If it stopped us from standing how we stand, it wouldn't be new chosen ones, new God's children just keep coming in, taking the place of the last ones that was here. It was other people here before I was here, before all of us was here that was doing this. I hope we all know that, like, we're not doing anything new right now opposed from using technology. It was other beings doing this before us. We're just filling in, doing our job. It's kind of like ants. All the ants look the same. They come and go. You step on one, it's another ant come in, fills in. Once you look at yourself and humans on a much smaller scale, we're huge, but we're small. We're huge and we small, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's what I say. It's important for us to understand the levels and the frequencies. Once you understand these things, then like a lot of this wouldn't sound confusing to you. I've had random people pop up while I'm filming, you know, and they'd be like, yeah, oh, what are you talking about? Oh, I like the information you're saying. I never heard some of it before, but I'm like, yo, you 50, 60 years old. How do you live this long and not hear what I'm saying? Where the fuck have you been at? That's like saying, oh, I never heard of a TV and you're 60 years old. It's no way you're going to make it to 60 and never heard of a TV. Even if you don't watch it, Even if you don't know about TV, you're going to know about television. Even if you don't know about television, you're going to know about that box that plays the screen that pops people out. Like, you're going to have some kind of imagery for it. You don't make it that long unless you are on Jupiter. You know what I mean? You got to be on Jupiter, which a lot of beings are. All this information out here right now, you can get off of this live stream right now, and I guarantee you, you will meet some people who will not have tapped into any kind of information similar to this. And then once you give them the right information, because they don't know what the right information is. Sorry and not sorry. A lot of these motherfuckers don't know what the right information is. And then the rest that do know the right information, their playbook won't allow them to accept it. It won't allow them. That's why I say, when you get into these little debates and conversations with people, your associates, your parents, your spouses, bring God into the picture. Bring God, bring the creator in the picture. Watch what they do. Watch what they do. Mention the creator, mention God in the middle of an argument or debate. Watch what they do. If somebody ever did that to me, which most beings don't, it shifts my process right away to, oh shit, if I was wrong, it's gonna point it out and I'm gonna know it's gonna hit me right in the chest. Oh shit, they just mentioned God. Oh yeah, damn, I was speaking selfishly just now. You right, I was speaking selfishly. That's not connected, it's not in cahoots with the creator. So I need to work on my process. I need to change my formula up. You know what I'm saying? I was probably arguing with my emotions, just trying to hit you. You know what I'm saying? But it's usually me bringing that up. It's usually not the other way around. But I'm telling you, bring it up, throw it in the mix. It's going to let you know where a lot of these beings are. And it's going to tell you your relation is very little and is not much. And that ship is not sailing very far. And if it is, it has no compass or direction. No compass or direction. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool and all listening to all these people on TikTok and, you know, over here on YouTube, and they got some on Instagram too, talking about, oh yeah, we need women to start doing this and blah, 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 blah. And then the women be like, yeah, men ain't shit. We need men to start doing this. And it's like, you have to walk that light first. You got to walk that light. You got to walk that light. So for me, it's like, oh, damn, I got to be moving more righteously, more in my divine masculine energy before I start telling anybody, hey, you should be more in your family. I have to do it first. Let me do it first. Let me put my hand on the stove first, and then you can put your hand on the stove. Because if you're going to burn yourself, we're going to have matching burns because I'm the leader. So I should be burning myself first. Unless you're just a hard-headed person that don't want to listen. And most men is not going to lead women who don't listen. We're not going to risk our life and our well-being and everything we stand for somebody who don't want to listen and being combative because they believe in the system that's in place. Most of them don't even know how to talk to men. Most men ain't even know how to grow into men. So it's a whole lot of witchy stuff in the process. That's what I be saying about these relationships. Our relationships are more important than what we give credit to. Your relationships are more important than what you give credit to. Your relationships are more important than what you give credit to. Most people got relationships with their job. If you don't got a relationship with your job, you got a relationship with your dog or cat. If you don't got a relationship with your dog or cat, you got one with some friends, some peers. If you don't deal with those friends or peers, you got your family. If you don't have those, or you remove them, God and the universe becomes your relation. And at least you know that way you got a direction. You know where it's going to take you while you're here and when you leave here. So we conduct these relationship conversations as much as people want to and make it seem like, oh, I could do it by myself, or, you know, I just get away from this person. Okay, cool. You know how many times I got away from one and ended up with another one? Look at this, H-A-I. You get away from this I, you got a T, and then you got another I. You ain't going but so far. So that's what I be saying. It's like, just understand it. I wanted to get away from birds, so I left New York and I moved to Florida or Virginia. It's still birds here. So do I grow into a better understanding of birds, or do I just look at birds as like they're the fucking problem? A lot of us don't like to look at the obvious, or at least the demonic ones. Because I know the tribe over here, dude, we be tapped in consistently. You know what I'm saying? Even when they be pushing my algorithms all over the place, the tribe still be in here. You know what I'm saying? So I know y'all are with the shits. You know what I'm saying? So y'all know y'all got a lot of good blessings coming y'all way too. You know, a lot of lessons too. Both. You don't get the blessings without the lessons. You know what I'm saying? So they go hand in hand. And depends on how you tackle it on, you know what I'm saying? But we have been in here, we have been going. Like I said, we're gonna be doing this more often. When I did the last live stream, it was from where I'm at right now, but previously my other phone, the camera in the front had broke. So it's like, every time I get one thing figured out, there's another wrinkle. So then I just figure out, all right, well, I lost one shoe. So, but these are the only shoes I got, but I still got to go outside. So should I put one shoe on and just keep one sock on, or should I take both shoes off and then just kind of wear, double layer my socks up? Some people won't even think of that process of double layering their socks up so they don't have one shoe on, one shoe off. That's what I'm saying. When you got the creator in your inner space, your knowledge is infinite. It's infinite. You may not have infinite money and infinite dollars, but your knowledge is infinite. The strength that you get is unimaginable. Unimaginable. And I just say that even with me going through the shit that I'm going through right now and still smiling and keeping my spirits and my energy as light as possible. You know what I mean? It's big facts out here, man. I just want everybody to understand how important our relationships are, because we're in a space now to where they trying to tell you your relationships ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? So if your relationships ain't shit, it's basically saying you ain't shit. And I am something. So I'm going to perfect all the relationships I have around me. And if they was old, dusty, raggedy ones, be gone. And then I'll make sure the recipe for the new tribe is a lot better. That's the whole purpose of the land, is to create a tribe. A lot of these people up here is just talking in circles, but why are you not formulating a tribe? Why don't you have the land? You know what I'm saying? People talking about, oh, well, all these other excuses. Once you get the dollars, you should be getting the land, because we should be harvesting and fishing and growing and doing all of these things ourselves. We are not supposed to be dependent on the system the way we do. Even my daughter knows we're not supposed to go to no grocery store. We do, but we're supposed to grow our own food. Or we can hit the farmer's market, where it's other people like us who's growing their own food, and then they say, hey, I'm gonna put it on the market. These are the things we gotta get to. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the important factors. For me, they already knew, like, this nigga is really about that life. So I can hinder him and slow him down, or I'm gonna have to take him out right away, but he is not going to stop or slow down. And I haven't been able to get him to conform in 37 years. So why would I be able to get him to conform now? You know what I mean? It's been too long. It's just like their programs. They've been programmed so long and so hard that they most likely won't shift out of there. I've been riding with my team for so long, nigga, you ain't gonna get me to ride nowhere else. It's a simple process. You ain't gonna get me to ride nowhere else. The same way those programs is installed, my shit is installed. My shit came ingrained in my DNA. It came ingrained. I ain't have a choice. I ain't have a choice. What I did have a choice, though, is whether I was gonna be witchy with my powers or not. I had a choice on whether I was gonna be witchy with my powers or not. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like, oh, every time I have a situation presents itself where I have a choice to be witchy with my power, I always acknowledge it. Like, oh, this is one of them haymakers right here. Nah, chill. Just keep your hands in your pocket. You know, just chill. You all right? You ain't gotta flex. You ain't gotta over exude your power or your energy for this time and space right now. You know what I'm saying? We don't always have to do that. You know. But I ain't want to run up too long, because I do got the mini hair. Y'all already heard me like simmer her down. Hey, Lexi. Hey, big girl. Lexi. Come here. Yeah? Come here. Come here. Come here. About to bring the big girl. We about to get some more content flowing with her to you, okay? Yeah. Yeah. Say peace, family. Yeah, they tapped in. Say peace, family. We be doing this full time. We've been going over how we keep track of the days. You remember how?
By the sun.
Good job. How we keep track of the months.
By the moon.
Good job. How we keep track of the year.
By the sea.
Good job. Hey, we knocking it out the park. We knocking it out the park. Hey, we've been working on that. So that way she can understand how the universe is working opposed from, just going off of what we say. You know what I'm saying? So the sun is how we keep track of days. Moon is how we keep track of the months. You know what I'm saying? And the seasons is how we keep track of the years. This is the future. Why would I not want a better version? Why would I not want to hand her over to a better, stronger, more divine masculine male than me or on my level? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to put her out here to the system. You know what I'm saying? Like, that don't make sense to me. I would feel bad and guilty and know that I'm not doing my part. So this what we do, I know we fighting all these battles consistently, but this is the generation and up, a little bit up on down that we doing this for. If you're not fighting and grinding to be a better version of yourself for these ones, then you're doing it wrong. I wear a bunch of that she not even aware of. I have so many fights and battles, you want to grab it? That she's not even aware of, for me to even be in the picture of her life. You know what I'm saying? Because when you move righteously, people want to remove you from the picture, which is crazy. I got people around who's not there for their little ones. I'm very present for mine, and everybody wants to take her away. It's like, you're not taking her away because I'm with her spiritually. So that's one thing that we already established. She already know daddy is with her consistently everywhere. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what we doing it. Y'all see, we giving the lessons here too. I do not depend on indoctrination school to do the job. She knows that I call it indoctrination school. She call it indoctrination school. So this is, I got the opposite sex with me all the time, and this is a new generation that's not as diluted, but in the process of being diluted through social media, the other house, and the shit that I give to as well. I'm about 80%, 70% with all the good stuff, but then because I was programmed and I got some of the other stuff connected to me, I'm okay with some of the other open perspective stuff. And that's because I kind of show her the direction. So like, I cannot control the music she listened to at the other house. And we know most of the women music is sexualized, is putting women in masculine energy, being boss men, big everything, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I make sure I present righteous music to her. Even though that's what I listen to, I present that to her so she knows the difference. You got to be able to know the difference in the process. They moving these numbers around like crazy. Yeah, it's all good though. But we here, man. I appreciate everybody that's tapped in, you know what I'm saying? Much love, much love. Tap into everything down below. And if I ain't back on here tonight, because we probably gonna go crazy, I'm back in here tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? So for the ones that didn't catch me today and you catching this live stream later, just know that we will be tapped in. I'll probably post something on my wall. I'm gonna get a lot more active at just keeping everybody informed and just engaging. I had to deal with a lot of life out here. You know what I'm saying? The tax is just coming consistently. I never experienced so much witchy stuff at one time consistently, But it makes me just understand that this is the process, and I'm going to keep on fighting with your big face.
I cannot read what they're saying.
Just say peace, appreciate you. Much love to all, appreciate you. That's right. And we're going to keep doing this. And then soon I told my mini she wanted to be doing all her videos and stuff. I said, yeah, I'll get you a channel as soon as I get you doing what daddy's doing. I got to get you teaching the next generation. I could sit her up here Or have her set up in her own little space how she teaches the next generation. You know what I'm saying? It's not a whole bunch of little people that's kind of giving this kind of information to people their age. So in my world, these are the kind of spaces I dive into. You know how the demonic team figure out how they can hurt us more? I be trying to figure out how can I push this light out some more? Like, if you ain't gonna get this work from me, you gonna get it from my seed. Believe that. You gonna get it from me and my seed. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get a channel. We're gonna get all that stuff right coming up soon too. You know what I'm saying? But we about to go hit this Western public pool. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you showing your bathing suit?
Yes.
We about to hit the pools up because we hit the come on. We be doing that. We ain't pulling none of that down. We live right now, big girl. That's for the pool. It's a learning process, y'all. It's a learning process all in one. But we hit the river yesterday. Yesterday's first time at the river. We got in there, bathing suits, just. But now we're going to do the public pool thing today. So it's a little bit of back and forth in both. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't want to run it up too long. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens. You want to give them some love in the light? So that's what we do. Most little people need something to do with their fingers. Peace. Give me the other half. Love. Peace, love, and light. You could do thumbs up, but that's what we do, light. So, this is how God told us to do the gang signs. You know what I'm saying? I was big things, and now we doing this peace, love, and light. You know what I'm saying? Peace, love, and light. You know what I'm saying? Tapping everything down below.
How do you pause it?